Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning, students. I hope you all are fit and healthy. Welcome back to our English class. Students, we are done with the poem My Shadow from the Marigold textbook. Hope you all have completed your CW work according to the PDF sent to you in the last week. So students, today you are going to learn the most scoring topic in the exam and I think you all like to do it. So our today's topic is comprehension, which comes under the reading section in exam. So student, comprehension is just like the hide and seek game. I think you all might have played that game, right? So what do you do in this game? Well, you seek for the person who is hiding somewhere. In the same way, in our today's topic, comprehension also, there are some set questions which are related to the passage given over there. You just need to find out the right answer for that. Now, the passage we would be taking in this comprehension is your Unit 3 chapter, Robinson Crusoe Discovers a Footprint, from your Marigold textbook. And students, keep one thing in mind, that as this chapter is taken as comprehension passage, you won't be writing any exercises related to this chapter in your notebook. So let's move ahead with our today's topic. So students, let's learn what is comprehension. Now, comprehension is a passage consisting of one or more paragraphs followed by some questions related to it. It aims to test our skill of comprehending, which means the ability to grasp. Means after reading the comprehension, you need to understand it and infer the meanings related to the passage. The set questions test our ability to understand the content and infer the meanings from it. Here, the questions which are given below the passage are always related to the passage. It is just that you need to understand the content and then infer the meanings from it. And you can do it properly only by reading. So reading is the most important component to understand the passage. So while learning comprehension, your reading skill would improve. So that is our today's objective while we are learning comprehension. So students, we need to carry out our reading skill properly while comprehending a passage. And always keep in mind not to answer the questions given along with the comprehension without reading it twice or thrice. As I told you that reading is most important component. So students, before writing the answers to the questions, you need to read the paragraph carefully twice or thrice. Now, there are some steps which we need to follow while we are answering the passage. So let's see the steps to answer the questions of the comprehension. The first thing is you have to read the passage carefully and try to understand the meanings of difficult words. Now, after going through the questions, read the passage again and try to locate the answers for the questions in the passage. So first of all, students, the most important thing is to read the passage carefully. And then once you are done with reading, you have to go through the questions and try to locate the answers. Means find out the position of the answer in the passage. Now when you write your answers, the first thing is your answers should be in complete sentences. You don't have to write the phrase or a single word while you are answering the question. It has to be in complete sentences. It has to be relevant and to the point. Means the answer should relate to the question and it should not be long. Your answer should be simple and grammatically correct. That means there shouldn't be any grammatical errors and your answer should be simple to understand. And most important thing, students, that you have to write the answer in your own language. Don't use the language of the passage. That means don't copy down the lines of the passage directly while you are answering the questions. Try to form the answer in your own language. So students, I hope that you are clear with the topic comprehension. So let's see our today's comprehension passage, that is Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint, which is adapted from Daniel Defoe's novel Robinson Crusoe. Robinson was the youngest son of the family who lived in York, England. His father wanted him to become a lawyer, but Robinson wanted to go out onto the seas and explore the world. So let's see the short summary of this story before moving ahead with the reading. Robinson was very adventurous, and so he decided to leave his home to travel onto the sea. He joined an expedition to bring the slaves from Africa, but he was shipwrecked in a storm about 40 miles out to the sea on an island near the Venezuelan coast. Robinson Crusoe's ship had been destroyed by the sea. He had been alone for many years and longed for the company. One day he discovers a footprint on the sand. He searched for more footprints, but he couldn't find any. He thought that he is mistaken, but he knew that it was exactly the print of the foot, that is, toes, heel, every part of the foot. He was quite frightened and he ran back to his cave. He could not sleep that night. He thought that the footprint could be one of the savages of the mainland who had wandered out to the sea in a small boat. What would have happened if it came with other savages and killed him? He began to pray for the protection. He now felt a little bolder after not going outside for 3-4 days. One day, he decided to investigate the footprint again, so he went out to the seashore and decided to measure it with his own footmark. He came closer and realized that it was not his footprint because he had not come onto that part of beach. He got frightened again and went back to his cave. He thought that this island has been inhabited with some savages. So students, now let's read the chapter carefully. I hope that you have your textbooks along with you. So you need to concentrate while I read and you have to read along with me. So let's start reading. One day I was going towards my boat. I was surprised to see the footprint of a man on the sand. I stood amazed. I listened. I looked around me. I could neither hear nor see anything. I went up higher to look down. I went up the shore and down the shore, but it was no good. I could find no other footprint but that one. Shore means the bank of the sea. I went to it again to see if there were any more footprints and to tell if it had been my imagination. But I was not mistaken, for there was exactly the print of a foot, toes, heels, every part of the foot. I could not imagine how it came there. I stayed a long time thinking, but became more and more confused, means I was not able to understand. At last, I returned home very frightened, means afraid, looking behind me after every 2 or 3 steps, mistaking every bush and tree to be a man. When I came to my cave, which I called my castle, castle means fort, I ran inside it as if I was being chased. Chased means to be caught or ran after by somebody. I do not remember whether I used the ladder or went in by the hole in the rock, which I called the door. I ran for cover faster than any animal could run. I did not sleep that night. The more I thought about what I had seen, the more afraid I became. I thought it could be one of the savages of the mainland who had wandered out to the sea in a small boat. Savages means wild people in primitive state, and mainland means large continuous extent of land. and wandered. That means to move around here and there. Luckily, I was not on shore at that time, but what if he had seen my boat? If he had seen the boat, he would have realized that someone lived on the island and would soon return with others to kill and eat me. Realized means to feel. And so I lay fearful for many days and prayed for protection. That means he prayed to God to protect him. In doing so, I was much comforted and began going out to investigate. That means to examine. But even now, as I went forward, I looked behind me frequently, means again and again, because I was still very frightened. That means I was very afraid. However, as I went about for 2 or 3 days and saw nothing, I became a little bolder. I decided to go down to the shore again and examine the footprint once more. I decided to measure it with my own footmark. As I came closer to the footprint, I realized that it could not be my footprint because I had not come to this part of the beach since a long time. Secondly, as I placed my foot alongside that footprint, it seemed larger than my own. My fear returned. I went home again, believing that there was someone there. The island was inhabited, that means occupied or dwelled in by somebody. So, students, I hope that you enjoyed the reading of this comprehension passage along with me. I would request you to read it twice or thrice before answering the questions which I have given in the end of this video. So students, here are some questions related to the passage and you have to find the answers for this question and write it down in your notebook. I will give you the answers in the next class. Till then, see you soon, students.